All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. We are going to be talking about why Jupiter is the best choice for 21 by 9 and a little bit of background on where we are and where we're going. I have two wonderful experts with me, Charles Montoya and George Astacio. They are going to kind of kick it off. Throughout the call today, if you have questions, go ahead and type them in and we'll address them as we go along. We'll also have time for Q&A at the end. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to George.
Hello, thank you everyone for coming. We really appreciate your time. We're going to try to roll through this thing and then get to your questions at the end here. Why Jupiter for 21 by 9? We figured it'd be a great time before InfoComm, still kind of the beginning, Q2, to have a State of the Union, if you will, kind of give you the genesis of 21 by 9 and Jupiter with 21 by 9 as well. I think we've gotten into the market where we've become a disruptor at this point, along with a lot of other folks. AV Network here saying that 21 by 9 is a phenomenon. I like to start all my overviews and kind of the going over kind of an anecdote. So when we had our coming out party in 2020, we had our pandas in our booth at InfoComm, and folks there were like, these are beautiful. These are our 105 ultra wide 21 by 9 displays. We were the first to market with this. And everyone's like, beautiful, it's great. But there were some naysayers that said it was a fad, whatnot. So fast forward to last year's InfoComm, we're now in 16 partner booths. Everyone's talking about 21 by 9. We're now we're actually looking into our 4th generation Pana display for 2025. We've got a Xavis video wall solution as well that we've put out 3 SKUs for 21 by 9 as well. So it's here, it's real. I think, when we came to the market with this thing, the device was really meant for flexibility, improved communication, better ergonomics, collaboration, and it fit right into that hybrid workspace. So circling back to 2020, that same InfoComm show, Microsoft came through our booth and said, guess what? We need to talk. We are going to come out with the UI for Microsoft Front Row in about 3 months. So the next thing I know, I'm with a few of my teammates, brought some displays over to the Hive. For those of you who don't know what the Hive is in Redmond, Washington. It's an arm of Microsoft where they do prototyping. They bring in all their high-end clients to review, to give their opinions on different new technologies. So we fit in really well with them. They've been a partner ever since then. We are in their archetype rooms for small to medium-sized rooms. So we've had a lot of visibility. We've kind of built really this display. They've had some asks along the way, and again, this is, I think, a big differentiation for Jupiter is that we manufacture these ourselves. We build this to our specifications. So for this particular partnership, they had a couple of asks. They wanted automated EDA control, and they wanted automated wake on sync. And we were able to provide that because we own the firmware, and we were able to do that in a very quick fashion. So obviously they like that, and the partnership has just been growing and growing ever since. This kind of showcases a little bit more of the solutions and partners that we're out on the road with. Steelcase on the left there, you see we're in 12 of their work life centers. This is a signature Teams room. So again, we are part of that internal and external spec for Microsoft signature Teams rooms. This kind of showcases a little bit more of the partner solutions. So again, going back to our manufacturing, this is another partner of ours, Forum Legrand. We build this to our specification. This isn't something, we don't pull the chipsets off the shelf like other competitors, and Charlie will go into that a little bit later on, but we built this to our specification. So we've seen a lot of success. So what you're seeing here is a snapshot of some of our logos that we've worked with for the last 2.5 years. Most of these have started off as, let's see what this looks like, George. We're bought in on Teams. We're bought on signature Teams rooms. We're bought in on 21 by 9. Let's test it out. So they purchase a couple. or demo a few, and now we're starting to get, George, these are truly enterprise-wide accounts now for us, where, George, I'll take 20, George, I'll take 50 of these. So these are, this is really the growth here in this industry. Again, going back to the word of being disruptive. And, it's not just us. Obviously, the catalyst for this was Microsoft, but it was very interesting the way we both came to market at sort of the same time.
Hey, George, and real quick on that, right? The customers that we're looking at, right? When you start looking at that list of people that are investing in 21 by 9, yes, it always starts as, hey, I want that Microsoft signature room, right?
Yep.
That's why I'm buying 1 or 2. But then, folks, it dives into that. Wow, this is a much better way of doing video conferencing, right? It's just a better overall solution. And Microsoft Signature is going to be a piece of it. It always is. So happy we partnered with them early on to do it. But really, like George was saying, it started with 16. Or started with just us and Microsoft to this. Now there's 16 different manufacturers out there that are building their technology to 21 by 9. So it's continuing to expand and grow dramatically.
Yep. And here's a little snapshot of those folks as well. And Charlie's right. This thing has it's gone from 2.5 the last year and a half or so, where we're just really focusing on signature Teams room, to now it's going into the regular conference rooms. Folks are really seeing the importance of the collaboration, the flexibility of these screens, and now we're starting to see use cases where we've got on the left here from Artistic Tile, those are 2 of our 105s in portrait mode that they put together as a touch experience in their centers. We're starting to see a lot of digital signage as well. And a lot of higher ed sports athletics are starting to come to us as well, wanting to incorporate that experience. And again, the experience, 105 at portrait mode, that's over 8 feet of glass there. It's large. Unless I definitely invite you guys to come by the booth. If you haven't seen any of these in person at InfoComm, we'll be there. We'll have a nice presence there. But until you see these things in person, I could show you pictures all day long. But until you see these things in person, it is truly a wow experience.
And actually, George, we do have one question that I would tell you, Tim, give us a moment. We're going to talk about different applications outside of Signature Room. I promise you, because that's near and dear to my heart. So we'll answer your question here shortly.
Okay, I'll hand it over to you now, Charlie.
Oh, hey, look at that. Perfect handoff. So look at
Yeah.
to touch on George's kind of point, right? 21 by 9. When we first got into this with Microsoft, everybody was Team Signature Room, Signature Room, Signature Room, Signature Room. Folks, I will tell you today, on a regular basis, I get calls and emails from people that go, hey, I'd love to put that 81-inch in my house. I'd love to put that 105 in my house, right? They see the application. They see the benefit for it. They see the design, right? A lot of media companies are building to 21 by 9. I've said this multiple times with people that I know. 21 by 9 started in the gaming area, right? My kids were asking for 21 by 9 6 years ago. They didn't get it, but they asked for the 21 by 9 monitors 6 years ago, right?
Being father.
Yeah, I try to keep them down a little bit, right? You can't have everything they want. But it started with the gamers on the 21 by 9, right? And then all of a sudden the executives started having it in their conference room because they wanted to get rid of dual monitors. They say, hey, 121 by 9 is so much easier. So of course it's going to migrate into the conference room. Of course it's going to migrate into your home use in some period of time. It's just a matter for the technology to continue to grow and become more simplified, as well as become more cost effective, right? So why is 21 by 9 such a big deal? I will tell you, the picture that you see right there says it all. A 16 by 9-inch monitor, you can only see so much, right? You're missing a lot of the image. When you look at the human eye today and the way that we look, unfortunately, I'm on a 16 by 9 monitor because I've had this thing in my office forever. But I see much wider than 16 by 9. There's a lot more in my peripheral view than just 16 by 9. So the 21 by 9 really matches your eye layout much better. The other great thing about 21 by 9 is because it's a wider format, I'm not having to look up on the screen like I would on an 85-inch or a 95-inch or one of the big monitors if you're trying to get longer real estate in a room. It's right there in front of you. So when George was talking about all those customers, And why they originally adopted it, yeah, it was for signature room. But then as Zoom started to add, right, 21:9 to their format ratio, Google has 21:9 on their format ratio. Microsoft has it just on their regular conference calls now. It's not just dedicated to signature room. You can do it on all the UC applications. When you're on those calls and you need larger real estate, your eyes don't have to go up to the ceiling, right? Or down to the floor to still get that content. The 21:9 gives it to you all. So George, do me a favor, hit the next slide for me.
Yeah, real quick. So just to, to kind of piggyback on what you're saying. And so we as humans, I always get this question after I go over the interview, and I always go back to, we as humans see the world on a horizontal scale. It's a 210-degree side-to-side scale. So ergonomically, 21:9 at this ultra-wide scale makes a lot of sense. And then we talked about the flexibility as well. Flexibility for these touch screens. So they also come in touch. So that collaboration where you're not having to try to reach up to a 98-inch screen, touch screen, which you're never going to touch the pixels up there. It really allows for a multi-person user experience in a touch collaborative mode as well. Sorry, Charlie,
especially for those guys like me that are height challenged. I'm only 5'7", trying to reach up on those 85, 90, 95-inch ones. Little tough. So we had the question a little bit ago of where are you seeing the 21:9 go? The next phase that you're going to see for 21:9 is replacing the dual monitor configuration. Dual monitor configuration has been around forever. I've been in video conferencing for close to 26 years, right? You can tell by all the gray hair. I was doing video conferencing back in the ISDN days, right? The Craig Malloy via video days way back then, where it was designed to where you had one monitor doing content, one monitor doing people. Well, why did we do it that way? Well, because most monitors weren't bigger than 45, 55 inches right back then. You didn't have 75, 85-inch monitors back then. You had very tiny monitors, right? So I needed to see the content at full screen. I wanted to have a full screen of content. But those monitors were only 55 inches. Well, if you fast forward to today with Microsoft, with Zoom, with Google, with all the other UC platforms that are out there today, they offer this flexibility of BYOD. BYOM. I'm going to bring my laptop to the conference room and plug in and now handle my video conferencing call. Well, the problem with that is when I have dual monitors and I'm trying to do BYOM or BYOD, my content only gets shared to one screen, right? So one screen's dead and one screen's actually showing stuff. Or if I'm lucky, they both might share the exact same thing. That's not giving you the flexibility of what you want. That's not really being helpful in your call at all. With a 21:9 monitor, you're able to replace both monitors, put in a single 21:9, and now you have all that real estate that you need, right? I can walk into a room and plug my laptop into one monitor and show on full 8 feet wide screen so everybody can see the people. Everybody can see the content. Everybody is fully embedded into the call, right? Especially now, as companies start to build, and I'll go back to Microsoft and Teams, and even the camera manufacturers out there, everybody's talking about video equity. Everybody's talking about being seen on the screen. Well, having those dual 55-inch monitors, dual 65-inch monitors, they start to get really, really small. People get really, really tiny on them. You're talking about a 105-inch 21:9 monitor that I can fully fill completely. Now you can see more people on the screen. Now people are more visible. And now you can really be fully immersed. That doesn't even talk about how it's easier to install a single monitor compared to dual monitors, how it's easier to run cabling to a single monitor rather than dual monitors. It's more cost efficient to run a single monitor than dual monitors, right? Cabling, all that stuff that goes into it just makes life that much simpler. And we haven't mentioned if you have dual monitors, one goes out and the other one works. Well, great. Now I got to wait for another one to get replaced. You get a single solution, right? All in one. So it really makes life simple and easy for people when you go for a single 21:9. Go ahead, George. Let's hit the next slide real quick.
Yeah, as you were saying, I'm just going to, again, doing this for the last 2.5, 3 years. That has been the use case. We're seeing a lot more of a lot of our end users and reseller partners have been coming to us saying, yeah, we want to replace these dual screen with the 81 or the 105-inch. So it has become very prevalent, I'd say probably within the last 7 months or so. Yeah, so Charlie's right on all his points there.
Yeah, and folks, I would tell you, if you're a reseller out there, if you're an integrator out there today, I want you to think about this as well. The last Wayne House Gartner et al. Report that I read, right, that talks about conference rooms today, 65% or more are dual monitor setups. Those dual monitor setups are also the largest amount of conference rooms that are looking to be updated in the next 5 to 7 years, right? So if I'm looking to go away from, or if I'm looking to upgrade a dual monitor configuration, what better way to upgrade it than to a single 21:9? Once again, right, side-by-side comparison, if you take a look at our Pana 81-inch, touch and non-touch version, right? So you get the ability to do either or. Compared to dual 55s, you see it's a much simpler application, right? I can fit this in a small and medium conference room very easily. And now I have all that space to show my content on it and my people, right? The fact that I don't have to have dual monitors and my head jumping back and forth, it gives you one seamless and easy way to install a system and be able to display everything that you want. You have all the real estate that you need to conduct your video conferencing call, or to go in and actually show, your PowerPoint presentations or Excel spreadsheets. One question that I get quite a bit is going, hey, great, I'm going to put a 21:9, but can anybody show 21:9 on their laptops? And the answer is yes. If you are running anything higher than an i5 10th generation processor, which my kids from their school get laptops better than that nowadays. i5 10th generation or better, it automatically can format to 21:9. So the laptops are there, the computers are there, the entire technology is there for us to use, right? So this is the next generation. Go ahead, George, show the next slide for me. Good. There you go. So when you talk about the 105, right? Dual 65 inches, right? Take a look at our 105 versus dual 65-inch monitors. Simplify to install, simplify to use. Look at all the real estate that you get on it, right? It's insane the amount of video that you can put on this. And they're full 5K. So it makes it simpler and easier for people to utilize. I would tell you all, this is the next generation of 21:9. We've started in the signature rooms, but you're going to see us changing over very, very quickly to being the replacement for the dual monitor configuration. So hop on board. This is the conversation you want to have with your customers going forward, right? And then once again, just to reiterate it, the size doesn't lie, folks. It really doesn't, right? If you take a look at that 65, the 75, the 85 versus our 81, our soon to be 94 Panas that we're going to be launching, or our 105s, it really just makes the overall experience much more seamless for people. And I tell this to everybody, right? I've been doing road shows with 21:9 displays for about 1.5 years now, and people get a kick out of it. I tell everybody it's kind of like an Elvis impersonator. People will come up and take pictures with it, right? And they're like, oh my God, you got to see this thing. It's so cool. But it is, right? And you know what we all need as far as the integration goes and people that are looking to redesign rooms? We need to make the rooms fun. We need to make them exciting again. 21:9 brings that. It brings the new aesthetic. It shows that you're future-proof. It shows that you are moving towards the next generation.
Yeah, and that's even more important now, Charlie. We talk to a lot of executives every week, and their biggest concern, I'd say 9 out of 10, is employee retention and trying to get folks to come in. So, how do you get folks out of the at home work experience into the home office? And that's with new collaborative tools, new exciting things, and this plays really right into that. With a flexible display that's different. It's just when you see it in person, it's different.
And you know what? Look, I still get the question, and I still get those naysayers, right? And George and I, we run into them all the time. And once again, I'm old. I admit it ahead of time. I remember the old 4x3 displays, right? And when 16:9 came out, we were like, no, 16:9 is not going to be here. It's not going to be around. No, 4x3, that's the standard. Oh, really? Oh, really? How long did that last? Right? Then it went to 16:9. The next generation is 21x9. It's much easier on the eyes. It's much more appealing. Once again, if you all got kids that are gamers, go take a look at their desktop and look at a video game. We'll watch a video on a 21x9. It is phenomenal, the quality that you're able to get and how realistic it looks in your eye view. It's amazing. It just is. So go ahead, George. Let's hit the next slide. So why do we also know that 21x9 is going to be here to stay? Well, Jupiter, we launched it, Infocom 4 years ago, right? Infocom 4 years ago, we launched 21x9. And you know what? Since then, not only have a lot of people started to build their technology to 21x9, right? Zoom, Google, QSys, Crestron, Biamp, you name them, right? They're building towards 21x9. But there's also been other manufacturers that have started to build products towards 21x9, right? So we wanted to kind of give you an idea of what the differences were and what the similarities were, right? Now, here's what I tell you. I wish I could say that outside of Jupiter, there was another industry leader. When you start to research 21x9 displays out there, you're going to notice outside of Jupiter, for some very odd reason, they all look the same. The exact same, with the exact same specs. As if Ford, Ford, Chevy, Chrysler, and Tesla, all at the exact same moment built the exact same car for some very odd reason. So I'll let you all investigate that and try to figure out why. But you can see when you walk up to a Jupiter, Pana 105 or 81, you can tell that we are in our own class, right? The quality is so much better above everybody else. So let's start off real quickly with what we all share in the same aspect, right? We all share a native resolution of 5K. We all have about a 4,000 to 1 contrast ratio, except for our new Pana X's, which we can talk more about later on, but we'll talk about our current Pana 2s. 4,000 to 1 contrast ratio. They're all direct lit LED. And we all have an Intel OPS slot, right? Very simple, very basic. Those are kind of the ground table stakes, right? So everybody can shoot 5K. I would tell you some of the things that Jupiter does much better than everybody else. One is we do have an embedded scaler in ours, right? So if you plug a laptop in, if you're playing a video, if you're sharing content, if you're doing data, trying to upscale from your laptop to 5K, everybody else stretches it out very oddly. And I tell you, don't take my word on it, go try it out. Everybody else stretches it quite oddly. For us, we allow you multiple different options, right? We have a 1080p wide field of view. So it literally scales. And I promise you, when you scale it, you can see it's crystal clean, right? We do 1080p, we do 4K, we do 4K plus, and we do full 5K. So we're the only company out there that gives you wide variety of different fields of view and different scaling in it to make sure that your content looks perfect, right? If you take a look at our inputs and outputs, we're very similar in nature, right? We all have the 4 HDMIs. We give you a little bit more USB. We also have RS-232. We have display ports, things of that nature. So very similar in nature. So one thing that caught me every time that I saw Jupiter before I joined the company was how bright our displays are. 650 nits compared to everybody else's 400 nits, right? That is something that you can see crystal clear when you put our system side by side. It's not even in question, right? People get blown away by the quality when they see ours compared to theirs. And I've been doing some trade shows lately where we've been across from our competitors, and people are like, wow, that's an obvious difference. It is. We're also one of the only ones that not only do landscape, but we do portrait mode, right? George showed you that picture earlier of one of our customers where they'll actually put them in portrait mode. On top of that, they'll actually tile them together, right, with our processors or other processors that are that they have out there. So it can really help you build another immense wall if you want to. And I'd also say something to that as well. When we built our product, as George was talking about, very early on, we were tied in with Microsoft. And obviously, Microsoft was looking for a product that was built for the conference room. So a lot of our product design had the conference room in mind. As George mentioned, Wake on Sync. Sounds very simple, sounds very easy. It's something that you really have to build into the system. Competition, if you look at it, most of them are digital signage companies, where they literally have taken their digital signage and just stretched it out to make it a 21 by 9. It was never built with that purpose in mind of being in a conference room environment setting. That's really when you start looking at the nuts and bolts of it, and you start playing with the systems and working it into a conference room. You go, okay, now I see where Jupiter's different. Now I see where they stand out, right? Things like Wake on Sync are so helpful and should be mandatory on every system out there, but it's not for the majority of them in the marketplace, except for Jupiter.
Yeah, Charlie, I just want to add real quick, just for the audience members, so they know that you really are speaking from experience, because we're fortunate enough to get you from one of our competitors. So you actually do speak from experience and understanding the lay of the land from the competition.
Yeah, I gotta be careful about what I say about that, but yeah. As people know, I've been in the industry a long time. I've sold other displays before, so one other part that I tell you, and this is something that once again, and yes, I was at a competitor before I came to Jupiter, and we did sell 21 by 9 monitors. The weight, right? For some reason, all of our other competitors, shockingly, they all weigh 195 pounds. For some reason, they all weigh 195 pounds. Ours weighs 135 for our non-touch. That's a big difference. I'm sorry, folks. When you're trying to install a display, that 60 pounds might not sound like a lot, but even for a dude that works out 5-6 days a week, that's a lot. That's a lot, right? And the one part that I tell you, and folks, if you haven't looked in Jupiter for the last year, if you haven't quoted our pricing out for the last year, if you haven't quoted us out for the last 2 years, if you're just coming back and going, hey, I want to see where they're at and what's going on, I will tell you the one thing that will shock the heck out of everybody on this is that last item, our price point, right? Our competitors today, their MSRP is $13,000 to $16,000 on average, and some are even higher on that, right? And once again, not as good quality of it. $13,000 to $16,000. Our MSRP is now under $10,000. Now, when I first came to Jupiter, and I was reviewing everybody that I know in the industry, saying, hey, what do you think about Jupiter? Everybody was like, really high priced product, really high priced product. Because originally, when we first launched, George, what was it, $17,000, $16,000, right? Over time, we've learned how to manage our supply chain. We've learned how to make sure that we can produce this at such a high quantity and quality level that we can bring our pricing down. So now we're under $10,000. Folks, we're less expensive than everybody in the marketplace. We have a full 3-year warranty, and we're a better product, and we're the industry leader, and we're the flag bearer. And all those 16 companies that George talked about earlier that are building towards 21 by 9, they all tested on Jupiter. That tells you something. And yet, hey, look it, we're also the leader in price point, right? That's a big difference. So if you haven't quoted out Jupiter, if you haven't taken a look at the price points, take a look at them again. Because I will tell you right now, if you're looking to deploy a dual 65, a dual 75, something of that nature, or even dual 45s and 55s, you're looking for an 81-inch, take a look at our price points. We compete extremely well in the ability to replace dual monitor configuration. Extremely well, right? So, I would tell you, give us a second look, pricing-wise, reach out to your rep here at Jupiter, take a look at our price points, phenomenal and second to none. And once again, our quality hasn't changed at all. Quality has not changed at all. We are still the best of the best and going to continue to be for a long time to come. So,
yeah. And just to finish off, as far as again, going back to my earlier comment, us being the best and being the leader in the market space, we are now into looking at our 4th generation of PANA design for 2025. So we feel we're at least a year and a half ahead of folks or our competition in the market, and we're going to continue to try to build innovation around the 21 by 9 space. And it's been a great genesis. It's been a fun ride along the way. So as Charlie said, reach out to us. We can give you a deeper dive. Talk a little bit about our video walls, our processors, along with our newer PANA X line, which is our premium line. 21 by 9. Going back to the beginning, it's here. It's not coming. It's here.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Hey, George, let's go to the next slide. Just to remind everybody, if you are coming to InfoComm, take a look at our booth. Stop by. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to chat with you. Love to show you everything that we have. I would also tell everybody, please follow us on LinkedIn. A lot of great information, a lot of new information. We're keeping it updated. I think we do, Melissa, what do we do? 3, 4 updates a week, if not more. So take a look at us. Make sure you're following us. Also follow us on YouTube, right? You get a lot of great videos. We're doing more and more. We're trying to do more little tech savvy videos, right? Little kind of, you know, quick questions and answers for people that are looking for more information about Jupiter. So you're going to see a lot more social media content coming to both YouTube and LinkedIn in the near future. So,
and InfoComm is not the only show. We are doing smaller regional shows. We are international. We are participating in things like InfoComm Southeast Asia and GITEX. So we are a global company and we have global reach, and we are in all markets. So.
And that's exactly why you want to follow us on LinkedIn, so you can take a look when we're in your area and at one of those shows, right?
Exactly.
That helps you out. So, hey, I want to thank everybody for coming. Melissa, did we miss anything? Anything else that we needed to do?
We will be doing, so thank for everyone that's participating. We are doing a Amazon gift card drawing. So I will do that this afternoon. So if you have your information in when you registered, you might be a lucky winner. So thank you. And then we will be posting this and sending this webinar out probably in the next couple days. So you'll get, if you want to refer back to anything or share it out, you will have the video link received to you, and it will also be posted on our YouTube and LinkedIn channels as well. So yeah.
Awesome. Hey, everybody, thanks again. We really appreciate taking the time today to come in and listen to us. Thank you so much for
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
Have a
thank
great rest of your
you.
week.
Thanks.